Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Life. Thank you for being here today with me. I said I was going to do things a little differently, like creatively to help people to learn how to heal their grief, their pain, their trauma. Music is a source of healing, it's also very therapeutic. It helps you to go within, to connect with your inner child so that you can, the brokenness, the pain, so that you can go within to see what it is, so that you know how to move forward to heal. And music is a source of healing. I just wanted to start the video with that because sometimes when you feel music and you could be feeling like, be in a not so great mood, not feeling well. But as soon as some soothing music is put on, it will help you change your mood for the better. And music is not just therapeutic, but it's also a form of healing because it just changes your mood, especially when it's some type of music that you love. So, as I said, we're going to be doing some different things on this channel as we talk about healing and as we continue to, talk about different ways to heal. And I'm not a social worker or therapist, and I don't have any certification or degree in that category. However, I am someone who have gone through a lot of grief and pain and trauma, and I needed to find ways to heal it. And that's what this channel is about, me sharing information, personal experiences, not so much in detail, but just enough to help you guys to understand and see that if someone like myself can go to the bottom less than zero because of pain, trauma, and loss, um, and come from zero and be lifted up again, and perhaps some of the information that I'm sharing here on this channel can help you guys as well. Because after losing so much, I knew that if I could get through this, I would never be the same again. It would be no old Lisa Vaughn anymore. That Lisa no longer exists because that Lisa healed to be something different. And I'm going to talk about that today to help you guys as well. And before we go into the topic of discussion, I just want to um, check in with you guys and see how your day is going. Tell me in the comment category if this information that I'm sharing on each video is helping you guys. I hope it really is because it's helping me as I help and as I continue forward on this path to healing. And I've heard some interesting things that I'm being fake and that it's a lie, etc. All I can tell you guys, I would never be on here doing that. That's the number one. But if you want to see what the truth is, then you can see what the truth is by following a person's life to see, um, look at the life of those who are spreading the lies, rumors, etc., and look at the life of the individuals that they're spreading the gossip about, you know, and you will know what the truth is. The truth always comes out. And I don't have to sit and say, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, blah, blah. I just let it comes out because what is in the dark will always be exposed to the light and then rendered powerless. And I find that to be true. So let's get into this topic of discussion today. I was sitting here as I was listening to music because a lot of times before I come on the video to talk to you guys, I listen to music. I come up with downloads. Even sometimes in the morning, I jump up and write. have a piece of paper and pen near me, and I'm always writing because I get downloads. And then if I don't write it down, I'll forget it as we go throughout the day. So that's what I do a lot. And that's why I have notes here outlined. Um, I was thinking, about writing another book, trying to still get my third book published at a reasonable rate. Um, However, I was thinking about doing a life story book called I Am Lisa. This is my story. That's what I was thinking about doing. But I have to make time to do that because that's going to be a long, lengthy book, and I need the time to be able to do that. So I'm thinking about it. And if that happens, I'll let you guys know. And after it's published and done, and I could tell you guys where you can purchase it. But anyway, let's get back to the healing journey. The topic of discussion today is my faith and relationship in God help me to heal. And that is something, guys, I really need to emphasize when it comes to my healing and when it comes to the situation of just being down to the ground and going through all these trials and tribulations alone without anyone there, without another person supporting me, helping me, cheering me on. I had to learn while I was at the bottom, zero, to the ground, that all I had was God. All I had was God. And God is not a little thing, but I'm saying people were not there. It was just a facade. People, I got your back, etc. But when the time came, and I'm not talking about financial help, I'm talking about just support. When you lose a relative, especially a parent, and you're going through this and you lose a pet and then you lose a best friend, and it goes on and on and on, and the support is not there. However, I was always supporting other people, being subservient, being of service, whatever they needed. And people looked at me like I was a puppet on a string, and they took advantage of every opportunity, you know and at least I am today. They wouldn't even recognize me because I wouldn't put up with any of it. And not only would I not tolerate it, I would call you out on it. And then, like I said before, what is in the dark will be exposed to the light. And once you call it out, it's rendered powerless. It's already out there. And I have learned so much. I'm still learning on this journey, of healing. And it feels good to heal people. Don't look at it as something like a struggle and it's too hard. Because as you get on the journey to heal, you know how like you get up every day and certain time go to work, and then you just naturally wake up, whether your alarm goes off or not, because you're so used to getting up at a particular time every day. That's how the journey of healing works. Is in the beginning, it's going to feel hard. It's going to feel complicated. It's going to feel overwhelming because let's face it, life didn't come with an instruction books, and we didn't get to choose the life we wanted to live. We have to play the cards that we were dealt, and we have to know how to play that hand creatively. And I admire a lot of people who have come from nothing and build their empire on nothing, but their trust and faith in God, and continue to build, and they didn't fall and stay in a position of being down because people left their life, you know? And this is why the title of this discussion is about God, and it's about my faith and relationship with God. Now, as I've said in plenty other videos, I'm not a religious person. I'm a person who has a deep connection and relationship with God. That is the truth. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here developing a video for you guys to watch. God has been my source as a priority, even when everybody who I thought would never leave, oh no, he or she would never. They have my back. And at the end, nobody had my back but God. And and I'm talking about it here because somebody out there who's watching this video in silence needs to hear that. They need to be uplifted and know that that God is your source when people turn on you, because you never know. You can think somebody that you grew up with, have your back, they're like your sister or brother or whatever the case. They can turn on you at any given moment. I learned that the hard way. People, I learned that the hard way when I was at my lowest point, where it couldn't get any lower to the ground. No, when people say things when it comes to me, especially people who don't know me, I just, laugh it off, because would they be able to come back from what I came back from? There is no coming back from that um, without God. Because if God didn't, God had to lift me up, because I couldn't do it. I had lost my dog, had lost everything. And it wasn't just too long ago. We're talking about doing a shutdown, and it went on for a while until I really started to bite through, crawl through, you know, and I started to just continue to persevere, because I said, God, if you have my back, if you're for me, then who can be against me? How can I lose? But I had to do the work. I had to move forward. This is not a genie and you ask for a wish and it's granted. I had to work. I had to do the work. And I had to look at things, and it wasn't easy. But today, it made me stronger. It made me who I am today. And more importantly, it not only did it make me trust God, but it made me self love and know my self worth. And people, that's the importance of healing. Once you get on this journey to heal, and even though it starts out small and you don't have an instruction book, you don't know where to begin. That's why I encourage everyone who watched this video, whatever state you are living in, to start with a therapist, a grief therapist. Try out some grief bereavement groups, because any information from those groups may be beneficial to your own life, because some people at that group may be going through what you've gone through, and they found ways to get through it. And they may share information that might be beneficial to your own healing process and the pain and everything that you're going through, you know. And I made a vow to God that if He would lift me up and help me, that I would pay it forward, and that's what I'm doing. And it feels good to do that, because I know these videos are helping people, because I'm getting comments, about how much, from men and women, about how much these videos are helping them, and stay the course, stay the course. You're going to fall down. Believe me, I fell down so many times I didn't even think I would get up. But, God kept lifting me up as I asked Him to help me, and I would say to God, this is too hard. This is too hard. This is too difficult. This is, you know, but I kept going, because a voice in me said, keep going, fight through, crawl through, persevere through it, because it started to feel intense as I start to do the work. You know how you're in a room and it feels like the walls are closing in, and it's almost closed in on you completely. And I fought, crawl, bite through it. I just kept fighting. And as I start to do that day in and day out, even though I made mistakes, I fell down, I started to see the progress. The progress was slow, but it was happening. And once I start to see the progress, I start to step on the accelerator and take God by the hand and say, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move forward. Because there's a lot of pain involved when you start to heal and to help yourself, to say, you know what? I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to put me first, and I'm going to work on myself. As you start to do that, and as it's, little by little, you start to feel better, you start to do a little more, feel better, you start to heal. You're healing when you start to self love on yourself. I love me and I'm worth it. Everyone, every day to start, I want you guys to get up, look in the mirror, and say, thank you, God, for allowing me to see another day. Thank you for allowing me to be here. And then say, I am worth it. I love myself. And it has nothing to do with being in love with yourself. We all are supposed to love ourselves, people. It doesn't matter what others are telling you. If you don't have self-love, what can you give to someone else? If you don't even love you, how do you expect them to love you? And I had to learn all of this. I had to recondition my um, way of thinking and way of doing things because I was attracting a lot of narcissistic people. I was in a 10-year off and on um, relationship with a narcissist. I have never in my life felt so low because, the verbal abuse and sometimes physical, and I look back on it and I say the least I am today would never put up with that. However, I had to go through those experiences because you know what I learned, people? I learned that life is not only about seasons, reasons, and a lifetime. It's also about lessons. We all have lessons to learn while we're here. And if we don't learn those lessons, what happens is that the lesson comes back around. And I can't reiterate this enough because when it comes back, it's in a different shape and form, but it's the same lesson and it's going to be worse simply because we didn't learn it the first time around. And if it comes back around a third time, that's even worse than before. So I try to learn these lessons as quickly as I can. And it's so important to look in the mirror and just forgive yourself for anything that you did and that you know make you feel bad about yourself. Just say I forgive me, and take accountability for it and move forward because we all make mistakes every day of our life. We make mistakes. We're human. Forgive yourself so that you can move on. Forgiveness is for you so that you can move on. I was struggling so much in the past with fake friends, um, trying to bring burdens to my life, and actually bringing burdens and hell to my life because always somebody wanted something or wanted me to help them fix something. It was never about, hey, Lisa, I just stopped by to see how you doing, or I just called to see how you doing. How you doing? How you feeling? It was never about that. It was about what can you do for me today, Lisa Vaughn? I need you to do A, B, C, and D, and the more I gave, the more they wanted. The more I gave, the more and more and more they came around to take. And I had to recondition my way of thinking because I felt that I wasn't worthy until I learned I am worthy. I do matter, and it doesn't matter what anybody else have to say about that because I consider that to be noise. Like I said in prior videos, noise that when you first start the healing process, that noise is so loud, right? And then as you continue to persevere, the noise get faint and even fainter, and to the point you don't even hear it anymore. Well, I'm unbothered by it because I am growing and healing and I am doing what I'm supposed to, loving on me, because my first half of my life I gave to everybody, gave until there was nothing left. So when people talk about reconciliations, I don't do that because I talk a lot, and even somebody I was dating a while back um, has said, you talk a lot. Yeah, I do. And there's a reason for that, guys, because I will reiterate things in a situation, in a relationship or in a dating situation, because I want people to understand that I'm not one who's going to walk on a tightrope and let somebody mold me like a piece of clay into what they want me to be. I need to be my authentic self. And problems that occur, we need to communicate. Communication is the key factor instead of the silent treatment, because I grew up with that. We have an argument in a house sometimes, then, we're walking around the house and not speaking to each other for 2 and 3 months. That is so toxic and so just hurtful. And I had to recondition because I would bring that into relationships too. And then one day the relationship is over, because if you're not talking to somebody for 2, 3 months, then it's over with in some cases. And then I would let people come back and etc. But what I do today, and what I've been doing is I will have conversations, because things need to be communicated, and that person can communicate to me as well, whether it's an intimate relationship or whether it's a friendship or a family situation. I'm communicating, because one day, if that particular situation continues, one day I'm not going to communicate. It's just going to be a wrap. And once I leave, make my exit from someone's life, I'm not returning, because I give everything that's within me. I still do that without being subservient. I give my all. And if my all isn't good enough, then it's time to say goodbye. Shut the door, padlock it, cut off, block, and delete, because it's not working out. And why am I going to hang on to something where I gave my all to it and it's just not working out? It's hurtful, it's painful, but I got to go, because I got to stay on this path to heal. And I'm serious about that. The old Lisa couldn't do that, just in and out of stuff. It ended, getting back together, ends again, get back. And it's just like spinning on a wheel. And every time that I would reconcile again, it would be worse than the first time. So lessons have to be learned. And as I start to learn these lessons, I knew that I didn't want to repeat them. And believe me, all this stuff that I've gone through, I could not have survived without God. I was literally going through all these things by myself. And you know how you go through problems and situation, you still have your pet. For the pet lovers out there, send me comments as well. Let me know that you're pet lovers. Say I love pets. Because I had a dog, a pug, and I loved him like he was human. And I would take him in a car with me. If I was too long in the stores, he'd be literally blowing the horn, leaning on the horn when I came back out, even if I left the windows cracked for him. And it was funny at times. But anyway, I would leave snacks for him and make sure he wasn't overheated because the windows were open. But he was like my go-to buddy, to the point sometimes I would sit and read stories to him and talk, and and I miss that. I miss my dog so much. And when he passed away, it was just a mess for me. And I had to learn that I mattered, and to self-love, and to lean on God. While we were in isolation and shut down, all these things I'm telling you about happened, with my mother's death and all these other deaths, and a good friend, and etc. And I had to lean on God, asking him to get me through it. Shortly thereafter the shutdown, I realized how many people around me, like I said, was using me for their own selfish reasons. And I had to learn through therapy that I was worth it. And when people were, what my therapist would use all the time, he would say, set boundaries. Lisa, set boundaries. He wouldn't say a lot he never really told me what I should do. The only thing he would say, set boundaries. And then I would make a pro and con list of what these people are bringing to my life, which was nothing, just using me for the most part. And I start to cut off, block, and delete. I start to have those conversations. And in the beginning, it was really rough. I was scared and in pain and crying while having these conversations. But it started to get easier as I had more of them and realized how disrespectful these people were. They were only in my life to see what they can get. Never allow anyone to talk you, never allow anyone to dim your light, or to put out your light, because some people can get jealous. Or never let people talk you out of your dreams and life purposes, because some of us have dreams and aspirations of things we like to do and what we want to do. And sometimes if other people know about them, they may be envious of it and try to tell you, oh girl, you can't do that, sit down somewhere, and etc. and so forth. And I had to cut off, block, and delete. And my cutoff game is no joke, people, because this is why I'm always talking and talking and talking. Because if the resolution sometimes to me is to cut off, block, and delete. because communication is the key factor. And if we can't come to any common ground because a person is being a narcissist or letting their ego get in the way, their pride and ego, then I'm gone, and I'm gone forever. No matter what they think, oh, she'll be back. And, I had one person thought that, they still waiting because I'm unbothered by it, because once I've given everything that I have to give, there's nothing left to give. So why are we reconciling? Because we're spinning on a wheel. I'm not going to spin on the wheel at this point in my life. And now that I learned how to self heal and self love, I know I'm not going to do that, because that will spin again in a different person, shape, or form. And I'm not willing to learn that lesson again, because it's going to be far worse. So I learn it, move on. um, Go towards the light, people. And when I say go towards the light, what I mean by that as well is self-care, self-love. Never allow anyone to stop you. And like I said, start with therapy. Find a therapist in your area, in the state that you live. Connect with one. Start the process then. If you like music, listen to that. Do the things that you always wanted to do for yourself, but you put other people before yourself. Now it's time to put you first. It's time to, take care of your needs. Your physical and mental health is everything. Without your physical and mental health, you can't do anything for anyone. Ask God to help you. It's important to ask God what your life purpose is. Please help me, God. It's so important. Do you start with some music that makes you uplift your mood and spirit? It's because without your physical and mental health, nothing else matters. You can't help anybody else. You can't do anything for anyone else without your physical and mental health. If you don't love you, how can you give love to anything or anybody else? So let's start by taking care of ourselves and pull back, your energy if it's toxic and interfering with your healing. Remember, it's important to put you first. This is Lisa, bringing you encouragement, sending you love and light always. Thank you for being here, guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye for now.